Hello and welcome. Welcome to tonight's Live at the Lounge. We are here. I have got David Levine sitting next to me, Alex Jester all the way down there. I am Samuel Smith. We're in the back of Cavalier Cigar Company in their lounge, and it is what? Sunday, July 28th. Where did this month go, guys?
Jesus, y'all aren't kidding. It's we're 3 days out of August. We are on the back half of the year, sliding our way to 2020.
I know, right? And what have we accomplished?
What have we done?
I've done a
in
lot.
memoriam.
I've done a lot this month.
Yeah, I think he's accomplished more than any of us.
Hey now, I've been accomplishing stuff too.
In July?
Yeah, after my vacation. Yeah, I'm still sporting the tan from that.
Yeah, you are.
Uh-huh.
So, what have you done with your weekend, Sam?
Man, we got to the weekend. We got to the weekend real quick. So I'm not sure about whether you can see on the camera or not how haggard and tired and physically just exhausted I am. But yesterday morning, I set out, swung by and grabbed my kids and took them, and we went all the way up to Atlanta, Texas, which is about, well, with kids and stopping and everything else, about 4.5 hours drive, and took them camping. And it was quite the night. I think I got about maybe 2.5 hours sleep last night.
Atlanta, Texas?
Atlanta, Texas. It's a little town.
Georgia, with
That
strip
should
clubs.
be illegal to name town. I still don't think that should be allowed.
So
Call things Atlanta?
So what are you going to call New York?
What do you mean?
I mean, it's
Well,
a
we've already
city
got a
named after
York.
state.
Well,
Yeah.
we've already got a York.
Yeah, but it's New York.
Yeah, but it's
Better.
It's better.
Well, no, technically not, because you can still kill a Scotsman from the city walls with a bow and arrow in our York.
That's pretty cool.
How is yours better?
I think we could probably kill a Scotsman with a bow and arrow in New York. It would confuse the police enough.
Might have been in the news this week. We don't know.
I don't know. I'm
we
not
haven't
caught
checked
up.
it.
And there's a street in our York where you can legally beat your wife with a stick as long as it is less than the diameter of your thumb.
Yeah, rule of thumb.
Yeah, it's called Whip My Wop My Gate.
Whip my wop my gate.
Believe it or not. And it ties onto the end of the shambles in York. So,
Well,
yeah.
today's geography lesson sponsored to you by spousal abuse.
I'm really not going to put that to the test. I don't think. I think the police would probably have something to say if anybody was beating anybody with a
It's difficult to
stick.
talk your wife into flying to York. What are we going for? Nothing.
Nothing.
Beautiful this time of year.
A
Gorgeous.
beating. So yeah, the kids kept me up really, really late, and part of that's, it's their summer, right? So when they said,
Well,
"Dad,
it's everyone's summer.
They said, no, but it's a little vacation, summer holiday. Dad, can we have a root beer? I'm like, yeah, sure. Dad, can we have a root beer? I'm like, yeah, sure. Dad, can we have a root beer? Yeah, sure. Dad, there's no more root beer. I'm like, oh shit, there was like 6 of them in there, and they were like full
And
strength.
off they go.
Yeah, they were. And then obviously the root beer caught up with us at about 3 o'clock this morning.
Had an indoor water feature.
We did have an indoor water feature and a change of shorts and they were both sleeping on the same air mattress, so there was a little bit of a disgruntlement amongst the children there. And then at 6:15 they were ready to go. So
Sharing is caring.
at about we got some raccoons visiting the night, scratching, trying to find the marshmallows that they left out for making s'mores, and yeah. So about 7 o'clock this morning, we were just running around, and they wanted some coffee, so I gave them coffee, and that was kind of fun too.
Okay.
Really. All the things they're not allowed to do with Mum. The one specific, help me out here. What kind of gun did I get them?
The Red Ryder, not Red Ryder.
What was it, Alex?
Yeah, Red Ryder.
The Red Ryder is the one that makes the wagon.
Red Ryder carbine
Daisy.
action 200 shot range mile air rifle.
I got them little pump out from
probably a
a
Daisy.
Christmas story.
Yeah, it's a Red Ryder BB gun.
I don't know what it is, but we got him a BB gun.
Yeah.
Or I got him a BB gun, I should say.
He said
With-
We're sorry.
we're incorporated in these
Well,
gift
no,
givings.
Auntie Kathy was actually in the Walmart with us. Now Kathy is
The
a
Walmart, not a Walmart. The Walmart in Atlanta, Texas.
And
Yeah.
Auntie Kathy sounds like somebody that is not Kathy, or the opposite of Kathy.
Auntie Kathy was at the Walmart with us, and she didn't. When
Kathy.
we were in camping supplies, and the BB guns were in camping supplies.
Really?
That is a camping supply.
So I was like, well, how could you not? And their eyes just lit up, and I'm like, yeah, we're doing it. And then, man, they got pretty good.
What does a BB gun run these days?
$35.
What?
$30.
I'm gonna say
That's some high quality firearm right
Actually,
there.
what, it was
mass produced.
It pulled a little bit up and a little bit left, but from 15 to 20 feet, it was when you made the adjustment. It was only about 1.5 inches out from 15 feet.
BB gun.
I did.
Yeah.
Why not?
15 feet. You could reach out and beat them with it from 15 feet.
It's kids, man. It's kids.
And stuff.
Well, from here to the couch.
piss off a bird,
What's
one of
that?
those.
20 feet from here to the couch.
Yeah.
It was surprisingly accurate. Surprisingly, and you know, William and Charlie were both very good shots, and they paid attention to safety for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
There was one point where Charlie had it and was trying to look down the barrel, and he got yelled at very, very quick. I mean, it wasn't loaded, it wasn't cocked, there was no BBs anywhere to be seen, but he was peering down the barrel. I'm like, dude, you can't do that. So yeah, and it was one of those things. I just sent pictures to their mom. It was better to beg forgiveness than ask permission on that.
That's
one.
right.
You can't go camping and not shoot BBs.
I'm going to apologize for him.
So how about you guys? What'd you get up to this weekend?
Man, I did nothing but work this weekend. All day yesterday, and then went in and knocked some stuff out today, and have done nothing productive or eventful.
I thought you were hanging out with the guys from the Texas Media Foundry
I was.
this morning.
I did spend some time with the guys from Texas Media Foundry.
Doing
3D scans of one of our buildings. So that should be out shortly.
so you're putting Volkswagen onto Google Maps.
A Volkswagen store, yes.
A Volkswagen store. Sorry.
The kind of a neat process, like setting up a camera and then hiding from it, like some sort of.
It's like
fucked up hide and go
RoboCop.
seek.
So the guys at the Media Foundry, they do Matterports for us over on our customers' houses.
For those who don't know what Matterports are, they're 3D virtual walkthroughs like you see on Google Maps.
Google Maps. Well, Google Maps came up with this thing and said, hey, you can plug your walkthroughs in now using this software. And the Media Foundry guys were like, hey, we got another stream of revenue we can go and exploit.
It's a great idea, especially if you're like a small business owner, you do retail, anything that somebody can actually walk around in, but pairing it with Google Maps, if somebody's already on there, because people sometimes like to see the storefront, they want to see where they are, but the fact that they can then walk in and get an idea of what the store layout's like, because I love that, because I've wasted time at stores when I go in and I'm like, I wish I would have known that it was only this big, and not only that, but those big retail shops and even small stores, like seeing this lounge in action that we film in. If you saw a Matterport of this, I think there'd be a lot of people. I would.
I like it here, man.
This is my jam.
It's a deceivingly large space on camera. But no, it's a neat place if you're in Bryan College Station. Come smoke a cigar, have a drink. So what has your week been like, Alex?
The weekend, the week was actually really well with work. There was a couple things with some expires that went out there, and just doing my due diligence and still hammering away at the real estate thing. Hopefully I have my first listing tomorrow. Fingers crossed on that.
We're all crossing for Alex.
Yeah.
I got to interrupt him. I got to brag on you, man.
Oh,
He's done nothing. He's done nothing except everything he's been instructed to do. He's literally followed the I am a brand new real estate agent playbook, like to the T. Just everything. So yeah, I've got no qualms about whether Alex or not is going to be successful selling real estate. He's doing very, very well. So
I appreciate it.
That's my brag on you. Sorry to interrupt. Please.
No, you're fine. But no, I had a real domestic weekend. The girlfriend and I went shopping for mattresses for our guest room on Saturday.
How old? When? You just. Damn, we got old, man.
I had no idea. I went a whole year with our guest room.
Don't you just get like a blow-up Queen Air mattress and be like, there you go, guest, figure it out.
Uncomfortable mattress you can find.
Figure it out.
Let me stop you there. Our parents are coming for Laura's graduation.
All right, so 2 blow-up mattresses then.
And Alex, that's not acceptable for people to sleep on because I suggested that, and I was the crazy one.
They make really nice ones you can put sheets on and not sell.
Yeah.
Please. How dare you? How dare you?
If that's the thing that you tell me, how dare you?
Yeah, because
of all the things I've said since I've known you, that's where I get a how dare you.
Because I suggested that as well, but
I've actually met your parents, and the look in both of their eyes suggested you might want to get them a real bed.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, they're nice people, and they would be like, "We're not."
But the mattress can't be too comfortable because then they want to stay.
Well, they sleep on a rock. Like their bed is literally the hardest bed I've ever felt in my entire life, and they love it. So if I would be like, this is a $5,000 king size mattress that's blah blah blah, and they would be like,
Buy
this
the
is
softest
too,
mattress.
they'd be like, this is too soft. This
And
is
if you see
ridiculous.
them buying sheets of plywood, you know.
Well, they actually say if you sleep on a bed that's too soft and you do the thing where you cross your legs, like when you're laying on your back and you cross your legs, that means that your bed's too soft, because what you're doing is simulating yourself being in a hammock and you're trying to stretch your back because your back is going too far down. You're trying to even it back up.
Who is they? Because I haven't read that
What
study.
studies.
Which strange website did you stumble across to find that?
But if you're laying on a bed and you cross your legs over in front of you like you're laying on a hammock, your bed's too soft.
But that's like who? I guess I just don't sleep like on my
If
back.
you lay on, if you sleep on your back or lay on your back in your bed and you do the thing where you cross your legs.
I spent entirely too much money on a mattress last year, and it was the best investment I've ever made.
I bought a Posturepedic 10 years ago, and it's still going strong. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I bought a blow-up queen mattress yesterday to go in the tent, and that was a good decision.
There you go.
Yeah. Well,
I had one of those you could have borrowed.
I took 2 roll-up yoga mats with me, and I'm standing there looking at the yoga mats and looking at the floor. I'm like, yeah.
That's not padding, that's a suggestion.
Walmart's like 15 minutes away. I'm going to go get a mattress and a BB gun. And then that's what happened.
And that's how the mattress got popped.
So are we going to storm Area 51?
Probably not, no.
I mean, there's enough stupid people. So
People are going to show up.
That goes along the thing with
It's so far away, though.
doesn't matter.
How do you do it
People are-
logistically? Fuel, water.
Think about the Fire Festival.
Toilet
and all these
paper.
Stupid desert
Well, the Fire
concerts.
Festival is not a good example.
Oh, the Fire Festival was a great example.
It didn't go well.
It went
Yeah.
extremely well for the organisers.
You think Area 51 storming is going to go really well?
No, they
Sounds
should
like
have
a
done it. They
perfect
should have done it
analogy.
the same week as Burning Man, and used those hippies to get there. They know how to live in a random desert.
Hippies are pretty resourceful,
Yeah.
so that's not a bad idea. But
No, I think you'll have a couple of hundred people be dumb enough to show up.
exactly, I honestly think that there will be dumb enough people that will show up there.
And you won't even hear about it.
It has calmed down a little bit in the last week or so.
I'm wondering why we won't hear about it.
Um,
All the news things, 0 people showed up, and
Yeah.
you're like, somebody's like, "Where's
Wait.
Frank?" Like he sent me a
It's like
selfie.
Tiananmen
Here we
Square.
go.
Nobody came. Nobody came.
Nobody came.
There's one guy.
Here we go. Transmission lost. What?
I would
weird.
bet you the cell phone service near Area 51 is not great. It's in the middle of fucking nowhere.
I bet you can't. There's not even a food truck or anything out there. It would suck, man.
Business opportunity.
There you go.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought
Food
about
trucks.
loading up a couple of 18-wheelers with toilet paper, because that will become the biggest. If there's any kind of camp or festival out there, that will become the biggest commodity is toilet paper.
Biodegradable toilet paper.
And then
diffuse.
Yeah,
what,
but-
Gold Bond.
That's like the self-dissolving toilet paper, like the composting stuff. What's the timeline there? Am I playing beat the clock?
No, I don't think
all
so.
right.
I thought it was like 30 days.
Is it like a 5-minute timeline?
I guess it'd be at like Thai food or something maybe.
Right.
I just don't think there's any cool shit left at Area 51.
It would be the
There's
funniest.
probably nothing there.
It would be the funniest thing if they showed it and there was like a storming and just this force field goes like, woof, and they all hit it. And then they were like, "What the hell?" They'd be like, "Yeah, stay out." Like,
Yeah, we told
seriously,
y'all.
we told you. You wasted your time. Like, we got some stuff. We don't want you to see it. Good luck.
Well,
I'd be like, "All right,
I
That's
watched.
scary.
yeah. Like, what do you do?"
I watched Independence Day. They got stuff out there, right?
My money's on there's not shit left out there, and it's
No, it's all in Area 52 now. They've moved it.
Area 47 got reopened.
At nighttime, it's like a bunch of guys like little carts like running like over to Area
All these
52.
C5 galaxies leaving.
Fucking TV from the AV lab.
Yeah.
Frank, you can leave that.
You knew that was a good day at school. You knew
got-
it was going to be a
With
good
a
day.
little black cart with the TV strap at the top rolled in. Yeah.
We went to school in different continents, and yet we have this in common.
Yeah.
You knew it was
The
going to
only
be a
thing
good...
different was the voltage.
Yeah, and we always had to watch the Queen for some reason.
I mean,
never-
Queen's a pretty good band.
She's still
Speaking
around.
of, you just went to a Queen concert recently,
I did, but it was...
and I'm going to call you out on the air for that.
What about it? What?
It's a Queen concert. You're English, it's okay.
Like, name...
I'd go see Queen.
Since 1990, name a band that's sold more records or had more influence in the world. You can't.
Since 1990.
Yeah, because the Beatles, they got the 60s and just fucking nailed it. But
Michael
Queen...
Jackson.
Huh?
Michael Jackson.
I don't know. Maybe.
Somebody Google it.
Yeah, Google it. Jamie, can you look that up for us, please? Jamie is Joe Rogan's Googler. He does not work for us, but Keith does, and he's got his phone back there, so maybe he'll look it up. What band has sold the most records worldwide since 1990?
Michael Jackson.
Probably Michael Jackson.
Probably Michael Jackson, yeah.
Right, but if Michael Jackson was alive, would you go see him?
Probably.
If he came to the Toyota Center in Houston, you would. And for me, I wasn't going to go.
I'm just making fun of you because I think it would have been a cool concert to go to, but like,
it was cool.
Two dudes can't go see Queen.
It's cool as shit, and two dudes can go see Queen. They just sit in separate chairs and they don't make eye contact. It's fine.
Drive separate cars.
Mariah Carey.
Oh.
Mariah Carey?
Yes, 80s was Prince, 2000s was Eminem.
So has
No,
Queen...
combined total, not per decade.
Per decade.
Combined
Number
total.
one artist per decade.
Not per decade, combined
I
total.
don't have that information.
Well,
Well,
Google
keep
it.
Googling.
Keep looking.
I'm trying to run a show here.
So are we.
So,
As you can tell,
anyway.
as y'all can tell, we didn't put many show notes together for this evening.
Yeah, we did. We got
Where's
loads
your
of them.
notepad?
My dog ate it.
You don't have a dog.
I don't have a notepad.
We, this went off
This
the
is going
rails.
poorly.
It's not. We're having fun, dude. And Queen, for your information,
Yeah.
absolutely fucking.
So it was every member of Queen other than, obviously, Freddie Mercury.
And John Deacon.
And John Deacon. So it was...
And Roger Taylor had a backup drummer because he's really old now.
is
He looked pretty old, but Brian May killed it. Adam Lambert killed
So
it.
Adam Lambert is their current lead singer.
Yeah, but he
Doing
got
touring.
It's funny because he got up after the first 4 or 5 songs. He said, "Let's just address."
This is the second time you've seen them, right? Since Adam Lambert's been with them.
Third now,
Third.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
That's all.
dude, I didn't want to go see Adam Lambert the first time, but I'd been such a big Queen fan. They were huge in my musical influences as a professional musician, and I thought, you know what, I'll just go and see Roger Taylor and Brian May, and I'll force myself to enjoy it. And 3 notes in, I was completely sold on Adam Lambert. I don't like the idea that he came from American Idol and he's this mincy little gay guy dancing around. But what was Freddie Mercury?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was Freddie
exactly.
Mercury?
And you know,
A mincier little gay guy.
he came out up front. He addressed it. He said, "Look, let's address the elephant in the room right now. I'm not Freddie. I never will be." He said, "I was the biggest Queen fan in the world growing up. I can't believe I get the opportunity to perform on stage with my idols every night." And he worked the crowd. He was absolutely fantastic. So yeah,
Well, if you go into it with that attitude and say, "I'm not trying to replace
exactly.
one of the greatest singers of all time."
Exactly. He said, "This is my
It's an
honor.
homage.
It's an honor to sing with Queen." And yeah, fair play to him. So yeah, that was all right.
Now the thing is, just like the old boat analogy, if you're on a boat and you replace a piece of wood from the boat and you keep replacing it until none of the original pieces of the boat, is it still the same boat?
Ask Gene Simmons.
If they continue on with replacing people in Queen, will it still be Queen?
Roger Taylor was 95% of the way there. He was still giving it real good. But they did have another drummer on stage, not lit up, but you know,
He
but
just
there,
couldn't hit the drums as hard as he
just
used to.
in the background there. But you know, I
It's
think
like Nirvana's been through their share of people.
as long as they
Metallica's
always
been
want
through
to
their share of
tour,
people.
they'll tour.
I mean, that's the thing is you've got one original member left.
Right.
So
What,
Metallica was that way. I think Lars was the last one left.
Right.
No.
There was a period of time when they weren't talking and he was still performing under the name.
Well, like Van Halen and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Van Halen, I could buy that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that made me completely forget. Oh, that's what I wanted to segue into. Because you said boat. And I find it very interesting that the new Prime Minister of England, Boris Johnson, was elected with less than 90,000 votes, right? Now hold that thought. Because when
I have
they,
no idea how many people are in England.
like more than 90,000.
Okay.
When they,
That'd be like
Probably
landslide.
80 digits.
when they
Little
tried
landslide.
to name a scientific research vessel a couple of years ago, and they had a big online poll.
Boaty McBoatface.
Boaty McBoatface was the winner with 121,000 votes, and they decided not to go with Boaty McBoatface because it was a silly idea.
But they did name...
Was Boris Johnson a fucking silly idea?
I don't know.
And
is it?
should Boaty McBoatface be the Prime Minister of England right
I
now?
like
Because
that.
I think he should.
They gave the people the ability to name this boat. They did, and then they backed out of the promise, and they were like, "We are going to name it, but not that."
Right, which is
Well,
exactly what's happening with
which is
Brexit. They gave the
garbage.
people the ability to vote on Brexit, right? They voted that they wanted out.
I'm not going to say
and
you're
they were
grasping at straws
nah.
here, but Boaty McBoatface and Brexit might be just separate issues.
I was just making a point of the fact that so few people actually voted for Boris Johnson to become Prime Minister.
How many people voted total?
I have
What was
no
the-
idea.
What was the voter turnout? Because obviously that had to be the majority for him to win. So
No,
less than 180,000 people.
No, it's fucky because he wasn't voted prime minister. He was voted he was voted leader of the party. So only the people that are members, paid up members of the Conservative Party can vote.
And there's probably more than 180,000 of those.
Yes, it was not. I don't think it was a majority, but we'd have to look. But I don't know. I don't know.
I saw he came out and made a speech today. I saw that.
It's like,
and he just like, we're gonna make your healthcare better, and we're gonna make. It sounded like Trump, but with an accent.
Honestly, and this is going to sound messed up, it's just like somebody else owns the government, somebody else owns whatever's going on, and they're just going, here, go stand up there and get attention. Oh, yeah. It's like, it just seems like it's just spiraling. Like, oh, you're going to put Trump in? Watch this guy. We'll put this dude in. This will be even funnier.
See, I don't know anything about British politics right now.
I don't either.
So I know Theresa May was like a disaster.
Yes.
And this whole Brexit thing has been highly contested, and they put it to a vote.
They put it to a vote, but a democratic vote, and democratically, the country democratically voted, we want out. And then they said, Mulligan, do over. We'll have another vote on whether or not you can have a vote.
At the end of the day, they're not a representative democracy, right?
No, they're not.
They're still a.
I don't know what it's all, because the Queen can just say, nah, fuck it, we're staying in.
The Queen's still in charge.
Yeah.
Parliamentary dictatorship or whatever?
No, so the Queen is still in charge. It's a monarchy. But the Queen gave her power. We looked this up a couple podcasts.
She did.
Yeah. She gave her power to Parliament, but she could at any point
take it back.
She'd be like, y'all are dumb, I'm in charge again. However, that would take away time from her corgis. So
and that is when a citizen without the right to bear arms becomes a subject.
Yes.
And that's where you've got issues. So, I don't know. There's a lot of unrest over there in British politics right now. Well, and of course, I'm still connected with a lot of guys I went to school with on Facebook.
So there's things that I have to question about that because I'm not over there, I'm not from there, but the things that I see in the news and the things that I would see if I were in another country of what's going on in America right now, I would assume that Trump is like running around on top of a tank like the guy from Idiocracy, like like shooting machine guns in the air. Meanwhile, like people are like, everybody is like Portland and they're all, running around with masks on their face and being Antifa, and I'm like, that's not happening everywhere. Like that's over there in Portland. That's a very small section. So when I see things about Europe and Britain and England and everything, I can't in my head know that the media is giving it to me.
It's hard to know what rhetoric you're getting.
Right.
It's really difficult to know if what you're getting is the truth. And that's the same thing with local politics. Unless you see it happen with your own two eyes, and even then it's your version of it.
Well, everything that we consume is pretty much on a screen. And as somebody that's now in the business of putting things on screen...
Coming from 3 people on a screen.
Right. There's hours and hours and hours of shit to wade through. Mm-hmm. And you have a story or a narrative that you want to tell before you even turn the camera on.
Well, look at the AP. So the AP used to be like the AP Newswire, right?
Yeah.
The Associated Press used to be where they put out the unbiased... Here's what happened, and then the news agencies would get it and they put their spin on it.
They used to.
Now it's the 4 a.m. talking points, and these are the headlines you are going to run.
Yep.
Yes.
Which is very much different from
I remember growing up, my dad would say that he wouldn't really watch a lot of news or listen to it or read it if it said like Associated Press. He knew he could take it as being actual news and that somebody was just spinning it.
The AP for a long time, if I understand it correctly, and somebody with more journalism experience than me, please correct me, didn't really have an editor. It was like a vetted group of journalists that would put their stuff together.
Yeah, Associated Press.
Yeah, it would put it through a single news wire, and that news wire would be used to disseminate the news.
Absolutely.
Because I used to see, think about the old Tom Brokaw stuff, across the wire. You'd be like, well, this just coming across the wire is this information. Because at the time, the only thing they had was fax machines. You didn't have email. You didn't have instant communication.
Pigeon.
It got faxed in. Yes. A swallow.
It could grip the information by the husk.
It's not an issue of the weight or how it grips it. It's an issue of power to weight ratio.
A 5-ounce bird cannot carry a 1 pound newspaper.
And there's our
issue of how he grips it.
What? It's not an issue of how he grips it. Perhaps 2 of them could grip it.
Right, by stranding it on a piece of baler twine.
Yes.
Real quick fun fact: Genghis Khan, when he had such a mass empire, that he could get messages across there. He would send a rider on horseback. He could do it in 4 days.
Yeah.
The rider would ride the horse for 50 miles to the next post,
Jump
on to another horse,
and
keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that Top Gear special too.
Yeah,
I did too.
I looked it up and I was like, oh, that's not
So
garbage.
on the Grand Tour, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, that's getting long in the tooth
Covered
now,
like
isn't it?
250 miles a day.
That's getting long in the tooth now, isn't it? Those guys got old.
Yeah.
The Grand Tour.
They don't do their
they're definitely
trips
still
as well.
They're definitely still funny.
Working in video production, I can really understand why Clarkson punched that guy when he didn't get a steak after being out all day.
Yeah.
I can kind of understand that. Yeah, sorry, Keith.
The back to what we were talking about though, with the whole Brexit thing and with Europe and the EU and England, and it's really hard to know, being here in the U.S., what's really going on, because we got the Theresa May stuff kind of went off the air. Nobody really talked about it over here unless you went and looked for it.
Well, and I actively look for it. I mean, I follow UK subreddits and politics and stuff like that.
But
Reddit has honestly been a really great source for news and as unbiased as possible, like where people can do fact searching.
Reddit, you still have to chew up the meat and spit out the bones.
Right? Yeah.
You have
Reddit used to be great, but man,
Reddit's turning into 4chan now.
No, I mean, no, it's because it's one of the most popular websites in the world.
Yeah.
So what happens is people come in and figure out how to buy influence on that.
They monetize it.
So
they promoted links and stuff.
Vote is one of the more freer free speech platforms. But again, you get into that, and then you get into Vote / it degenerates down into 4chan, where I don't think that. I don't mind what vocabulary you use. It's a free world. It's a free speech. But I'm not going to get into a debate politically when people are, tossing out derogatory racist words. And it's just like the more free speech you go on the internet, the more you've got to deal with, people putting...
The problem is what the internet has done and what social media has done is it's given people a platform to feel like their opinion matters. And to feel like, that's what we're doing
Case
right
in
here.
point.
Yeah, case in point. All 3 people watching us at the moment.
Well, I mean, the derogatory thing that I have an issue with when you make remarks, if somebody swears or cusses or whatever, like that doesn't bother me. But when somebody makes derogatory, whatever you want to call it,
well, no, I'll say it out
like
loud. The word that bothers me the most now, and I never thought it would, the word that bothers me the most now in forum conversation is nigger. It really fucking irritates me that
people don't use it. They don't use it as part of vocabulary. They use
it as
to try to get a reaction.
Yeah, and it makes me not want to be on an uncensored free speech platform around when that word specifically it grates me a little bit now.
I mean, I'll scroll past it because at the end of the day, while the thing with free speech is, while I may not agree or like what you're saying, I will defend your right to say it.
Absolutely, yeah.
I have been in situations where people are spewing massively anti-Semitic rhetoric, and I'm not going to stand there and try to argue with them because you're not going to change them.
You're not going to change their opinion.
So I'm just going to remove myself from the situation.
You nailed it there. You remove yourself from the situation. So by doing so, you remove yourself from the discussion.
Sure.
So the aggressive people.
But that's not a discussion.
So if you're unable to make your point without using those phrases and words and things like that,
obviously don't have a well thought out
then you
point.
obviously don't have a well thought out point. If you can't state it, you can say like, oh, I'm having a shitty time here. Like, I don't like that people are saying this.
Right.
And then you can do it without attacking somebody.
Exactly.
That's fine. You got your point across. You made it. They shouldn't be offended on how you're talking. But if you say something to offend somebody, you obviously don't have a grasp on your concept well enough to get it out without being offensive.
All racial slurs are intended to create a reaction.
Exactly.
Create tension. I would not want my kids reading Vote or reading 4chan.
No.
Specifically, there's really good information on there. There's really good news on there.
But you've got to be willing to wade through.
Yeah, you've got to wade through so much crap to get to it.
It's hard,
and it just turns you off. So your alternatives are
other than the watch list you can put on
pre-canned media, where you believe what you're told, or you've got to troll through river of shit to see what you can find that's worth reading.
It's true.
I can't do it. It doesn't appeal to me.
Well, there's other things too that even when people take information that's given to them that's not right, like they just release something, and I mean, you can ask anybody. Like, I like science outlets in the way that there's different data that can be interpreted, but it's difficult because it's not done properly sometimes. They just put out a whole thing where they said the average pollution caused by rivers around the world and the plastics that come through them, and obviously it was the Yangtze River in China that was the highest one.
Right.
They did that. That was based off of a model of some European rivers, the size of the population density around them, and the types of industries had nothing to do with them actually going to those rivers and measuring the output of the plastic. They extrapolated models and then applied it, and then everybody goes, it's the Chinese's problem. Like that, like they're the ones doing all, and it's like,
let's be honest.
It is.
Your mass polluters are China and India.
They are, but the way they portrayed the numbers made it based off of models that wasn't somebody actually going out there and taking sample sets. They extrapolated data from what they thought could be a relatable thing. I'm like, it could be a lot worse.
Well,
it could be better. I don't know.
Even vetted scientific articles are disproven.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a conversation.
Peer review means nothing.
Yeah, we had a conversation about the anti-vax movement a couple of podcasts ago, when the original study.
I heard those guys were starting to die out now. Sorry.
The original study was not only debunked, but the guy lost his license. It doesn't matter. He was quack, but it's taken root, it's taken hold, and people feel so adamant about it that you can't change your opinion.
Yep.
So, how do you handle that? You know, how do you handle people if you run across somebody that is unwilling to have a debate, which conversation is debate, is unwilling to have a conversation about it? Do you just go, well,
beat it out of them?
Okay.
I mean, I don't know.
But by force doesn't change people's opinion. Yeah. Yelling at somebody's not going to change their opinion.
It's true.
Not at all.
You might get a fear-based, you're right, but you're not actually going to change your opinion.
Right.
And if they're unwilling to digest new information.
There is such an unwillingness to engage in debate, though. Such an unwillingness. I'm right, you're wrong, that's the end of it.
So there's a regular that comes in here to the lounge who was wearing a shirt yesterday, and I can't remember the exact word, but it had a smiley face on it. It had something to do with, it said something about tyranny. And it was this is equal to tyranny in a different package. And he went to a local restaurant, and the girl at the counter looked at him and called him a racist. The shirt had nothing to do with race, had nothing to do with anything other than talking about it was a he wore the shirt to get a reaction.
Right.
The girl called him a racist, and he goes, "What? Define for me what tyranny is." And she goes, "Well, it doesn't matter. You're a racist."
Yeah, good
Well,
job.
Exactly.
That's the standard response now for "I don't like you" is you're a racist.
Absolutely.
I don't agree with your opinions, so you're a racist.
I'm not.
I don't care.
I'm an equal opportunity. I will give everybody as much respect as they give me right back.
Yep.
No problem. I have, you don't see skin color. You just see a fucking
person.
dude trying to make his way in the world. That's all it is.
No, you judge a man by his actions and by his character. Whether he's
and sometimes by
white,
his cool
green, purple,
tattoos.
pink, black, or yellow. It doesn't matter. You judge a person by and the tattoos don't matter, because I've had guys that I've worked with that when you look at them on the surface, if you were to judge them by their appearance, you would avoid them.
Well, I mean, man bun, for example. Over there.
I mean, man buns. We thought he was gay for the longest time.
We
with man
did,
buns,
yeah.
so-
I was extremely disappointed to find out he wasn't.
Well, then this imaginary
How would that
girlfriend showed up.
disappoint you?
He is
It was
wearing
a
a
joke.
mauve shirt.
It was a joke. It's not mauve. It's purple. Maybe a bit lilac or something.
Dude, I'm colorblind. I was like, is it? I was like, I thought it was gray. Talking about the same.
Not seeing color over here.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
But when you run into a situation where you deal with new people, you have to make everybody has some prejudice built into their head.
Yeah.
Whether it be from their upbringing or from their experiences. What it comes down to is, are you willing to suspend your initial reaction and give somebody a fair shake?
Absolutely.
So here's the thing that makes it, I guess, relatable to like myself that I can't experience. So the colorblindness thing, it actually is a physical handicap. I was
Yep.
born this way. Genetically, my eyeballs are not going to transmit to my brain what everybody else sees. I get it. Do I get offended if I see a chart and it says normal vision, colorblind vision, what they see, and I go, so you're saying I'm not normal?
My younger brother's
don't.
colorblind, and I bought a shirt one time that said "fuck the colorblind." He had
Yeah.
a colorblind test,
Yeah, I sent.
and my dad looks at us and goes, "That's fucked up," and he's
sent
like, "I
that-
don't get it."
I
Like,
sent that to my mom, and I didn't know what it said, and I said, what does this say? And she goes, why are you sending me this stuff? And then I was
'Cause I
like,
can't
I
read it,
can't
Mom."
read it because I'm colorblind.
And everybody's laughing at me.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is this? Like, but anyway, that's besides the point. But I don't get upset about that. But it's also something that I can willingly get into a discussion with somebody about, and being open about things that are different about somebody, whether or not it's race, a physical handicap, something that you're born with, you have no control over. But if somebody were to just discuss it with you, but people take a real defensive standpoint.
Well, they're afraid that you're going to become offended.
Correct.
And that it offends them if you're not offended.
Correct.
You're supposed to care deeply about these things.
Well, I have a shirt. It's red. It says "Kiss Me, I'm colorblind," and it's got a clover on the center, and it's a joke on
for
St.
Irish.
Patty's Day.
Yeah.
But somebody was like, they're like, "That's offensive," and I go, "Well, I'm colorblind, so I can be like it's not offensive because I'm one of them." Like, fuck off.
It's
Seriously, like why is that offensive to you?
Well, remember South Park where they had Timmy on stage in a wheelchair and he was in his band and he was just all he could do was yell Timmy. Everyone's like, "Oh, that's you're exploiting the handicapped," and the handicapped kid was having the time of his life, and I think that was the point they were trying to make.
Right.
Well,
Everybody wants to be included.
When you talk about first impressions, right? So if I had somebody pose this question to me. They said, "So you're saying that you always judge people by your first interaction with them?" And I cannot say that I always do, right? There are some immediate psychological,
for the most part, yeah.
but there's
You've got that first impression.
Immediate decisions made in your brain, whether they're by choice or not. So if the question that was posed to me is, if somebody walked up to you and applied for a job and they had a swastika tattooed in the middle of their forehead, would you hire them?
Right.
Well, let's look at it from two different angles. I'm not going to assume this guy's a racist immediately. I mean, the swastika is a pretty hard sign.
Maybe he's reformed.
Well,
Right.
and that's what I'm getting to.
Right.
People's decisions in the past don't dictate their future.
Correct.
So now at the same time, if I'm in a service industry and he has to talk to customers, I might not hire him because he has a swastika on his fucking forehead.
I'm going to ask him
Not
that.
because.
I'm going to ask him that at the interview though. Like, right,
So what's the story?
let's address this elephant in the room. What's up with that swastika on your forehead?
Yeah.
He's like, well, some lads pinned me down and put it on there because they didn't like me and they bullied me when I was a kid and I can't afford the surgery to get it took off.
That's okay. I
The
think you're
likeliest
lying
of
to me.
scenarios.
At that point, you're lying to me.
But
Right.
But and I bring it up because I've worked with a man recently who had on his hands, he wore rubber gloves every day. He was in the shop at a dealership I was at. And he wore rubber gloves on his hands every day. I never understood why. Like, even when he wasn't working on cars. Well, I saw his hands, and he had Aryan Brotherhood tattoos on both his hands. Like, very distinct Aryan Brotherhood tattoos. The guy had done a dozen plus years in prison. One of the nicest guys I've ever met. Well, somebody made the joke around him that I was Jewish. And I'm like, we're going to see where this goes. And I found out that he had converted to Mormon in prison and regretted his decisions previously in life and was one of the nicest guys I've met. But I looked at his hands and made a decision and said, I have to be more careful around this person.
Sure.
Until proven otherwise.
Well, it's a safety thing. I mean, if you walk down the street at night and you see a very large man in a back alley and he's got face tattoos, it doesn't make sense to be like, hey, man, I'm lost and my phone is out of battery. Can you tell me where I can go to find
yeah, I'm struggling to hold all this cash. It's falling out my pocket. Can you help me, please?
That doesn't make sense.
Could you hold my gold bullion for a moment?
It's good to have,
well, I tightened the strap on my Rolex.
Right. It's good to have those precautions about people because that's what survival is
Well,
about.
and that's subconscious.
But then there's things that after a while that you can learn to look past those initial out things because people made choices at one time to look and dress that way.
If I walked out of synagogue and there was a man standing in front of the synagogue with a swastika on his forehead, I might not say, hey, bud, you look lost.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm going to have some immediate concern about what's getting ready to happen.
Right. You know, it's like those a biker that's got a bunch of tattoos and they drive around, they look mean and menacing, but they're going to do kids charity rides.
Yeah, they're going to Toys for Tots.
Right, and you know, and there's people and they get really upset, and I'm like, well, you look a certain way, and people learn to protect themselves based off of their impressions of people, and it's hard to get over that. But again, it's also very foolish to ignore those feelings at times when you need to have them.
Well,
you know, I don't want
You know, Bruce brings up a good point in the chat. Prisoners may not be racist, but have to align with the racist gangs for protection. That's true. You don't know somebody's situation. You don't know what happened to them, what their story is,
right?
How they ended up in prison. There are good people in prison that made a bad decision.
Right.
And there's bad people on the streets that have just managed to stay out
Made
there.
good decisions. Yeah.
They made good decisions, or fortuitous decisions. You don't know. You don't know people's past. You don't know where they came from. And don't ever make the assumption.
No. Or where they're going.
Sure. We had a gentleman working for us recently that had tattoos down both his arms, on his hands, up onto his neck. But when you saw him initially, you're like, is this the guy I'm dealing with? 3 seconds in, one of the nicest, soft-spoken people I've ever met in my life. Came from Southern California, L.A. in the 80s and 90s, and that was what he did.
It was a different culture out there.
Different culture.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
look
tattoos,
at Travis Barker.
Tattoos specifically, people with tattoos don't judge you for not having them. But people without them, there is still some judgment. Not as much as there used to be. They've become significantly more mainstream. But for the longest time, people walked up to people with tattoos and thought they were someone unscrupulous or thought they were someone bad.
I mean,
now people with tattoos do give you weird looks when you tell them you're as pure as white fallen snow, like fresh fallen snow.
I would give you a weird look if you said that to me, Alex, to be fair.
In fact, I'm giving you a weird look now.
Yes, I would worry about your imaginary girlfriend.
Yeah.
She's real. We won't match her shop.
You don't know her. She lives in a different state.
She went to a different school.
Yeah, for the last year. So, but no, I have a forearm tattoo. I got it right there, and it was to symbolize sobriety, and it's a science fiction symbol from a series I've been reading since I was a teenager, and it just sits there now. And when I go to meetings with new clients, when I'm doing commercial real estate and that kind of stuff, of course I wear long sleeves. I wear long sleeve shirts and that. But around the office, day to day, if I'm not like showing property or if I'm not meeting, clients or any of that kind of stuff, I let them out. I wear them out. It's fine. I wear them on the podcast. People see. My tattoos are art. They're not like scribbles. I like them.
Well, you have meaning to all three of yours.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and everybody has meaning to their tattoos for the most part. For the most part. I know a guy that works in a higher management position here in town that has a tattoo of a mustache on his finger. We call that a bad decision on a drunken night.
That's a bad decision.
Does he do it like this?
Yeah,
I should do that. I should get a mustache
Please
and then
don't.
just do that.
Please don't. No.
Over the real one.
No,
And I'd be
that's played out now. That's
Told
played
you.
out now. What you should do is get a tattoo of a finger on the inside of your finger. Could be like finger inception. No, that wouldn't work.
Maybe.
Right on.
And on that bombshell.
That was a bit bad, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was tough.
I didn't think I would ever have a regular job again when I got a forearm tattoo.
Really?
Yeah, because remember I was doing internet marketing. I was just slinging.
That's like people that if you get a face tattoo or a hand tattoo.
I'm not gonna get a face tattoo.
You're just deciding that you don't ever want to get a W-2 again. It's
Those hand tattoos.
the everlasting job stoppers.
I have not had a W-2. I don't remember the last one I got. I mean, it's been a decade.
Did you get a new one?
Yeah, Bruce did get a new one.
The spider.
Yes. One of your New Orleans trips. Voodoo doll.
Oh, I can't see that one.
Yeah. Our live studio audience.
Has a new tattoo.
Has a new tattoo, yes. What else do we have on the docket for this evening?
I don't remember. Let's look. Oh, there was one thing I wanted to bring up. Less than 6 months now till 2020.
Yeah.
Where's my flying car? Where's my hoverboard? But
I
in
just am
reality,
waiting for the first invitation to a New Year's party that says
You know
Roaring
what?
20s.
I trust you two and myself with flying cars and a few other select people that I know. Outside of that,
I don't trust me with a flying car.
Unless it's fully automated, I almost got an accident leaving my house today with the lady at the corner of the street.
Fully automated, you trust. Let's
So-
talk about the Boeing 737 autopilot.
oh,
issue.
let's not.
That's,
the FAA let Boeing, it came out today, the FAA let Boeing do their own safety tests on that and their own safety certification.
And 2 crashes later, there's parking lots full of 737s waiting on updates.
But no, going back up just a second, right? So the
they didn't give
70s,
them training and they didn't do it right because they
Well,
were
but
trying
the
to rush
system
for.
was counterintuitive.
Correct.
It wouldn't warn you, or it was like a warning that showed up like all the way on the right side of the cockpit that was like, hey, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
But they didn't tell anybody about it.
You know
so you keep fighting the plane trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and you go down and it autocorrects and goes
Yeah.
up. You know, it also does that. Stupid Google Maps when you're trying to zoom out in it when
That's
you're doing your driving
that's a
mode,
reach.
and all of a sudden it's like, hey, you meant to go closer, right? And you're
Well,
like,
Google
and you
Maps-
keep trying to zoom out, and it's like, I want to see.
But Google Maps didn't kill 200 people in a field.
It could have. It could have killed me when I'm trying
Wasn't
to.
what was that story recently that like 22 cars or 20 cars got stranded on a dirt road because
Oh, I saw that. They ended up in a field.
Yeah, they ended up just in the middle of a field, like some.
Because they all follow Google Maps.
I've been sent down a road that was dead end, like it was just a sign.
I'll be honest, it sent me down a dirt road once.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
I missed an exit on a freeway. It said, "Oh, turn right up here," and I turned right, and it was like 5 miles of just pure dirt road.
But now
and then
it
it pulled me
said-
out on the where I was going.
Yeah, but now it says, "Did we get you there?" I'm like, absolutely not. No, you totally didn't. Like, fix that.
Stay on topic a minute, right?
Yeah.
So, the 50s rock and roll, 60s you got the Beatles, you got the hippie generation moving into the 70s bell-bottom jeans, fuel crisis, the 80s big hairbands and shit. You got 90s, you've got grunge, and the internet really started to take off, and you got Friends, and then the 2000s. I don't really know what we've got defined, but
Facebook.
2010 to 2020 is another decade. We're fixing to close a decade out. What's going to be the defining feature? I mean, Amazon.
2000
And online shopping.
I would say the 2000 was the internet and Facebook. Like
Yeah, but what's
those-
gonna be
social media and
social
But
media?
2010, so the 2000 to 2010, yeah.
much more easily offendable youth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
20. Yeah.
What's the decade going to be
2010
remembered
to
for?
2010 was millennials in politics.
2010 to 2020 is going to be remembered in the same way that the early remembrance of the 60s was.
Well, they
Counterculture and
they invented another generation, you know.
after millennial.
No, well, there's one after, but between Gen Xers and millennials.
Gen Y.
No. They invented another one. They came
Well,
up
they
with it because it was
basically looked
necessary.
at the millennials and said,
It runs from
really
not
these
a
people in the beginning.
I'm
it
not a
runs
millennial.
from
What year were you
it's a
born?
6-year spread. It's a 6-year spread, and you guys would just about be included, but it's from about 78, 79 to 84, 85.
Right.
And it's the kids that grew up analog, like I did. I
converted
remember
to
sticking
digital.
a pencil in a cassette. I remember an 8-track player.
Yeah.
I remember not having a video recorder. I remember tuning the television with a tuning knob. I remember the phone on the wall, the rotary phone.
Yep.
Right?
But you want to feel old.
Don't, because I am.
September 11th this year, there are people that are old enough to vote that weren't alive when 9/11 happened.
Oh. So for the first time, a real, proper, whatever organization, I guess, but the firefighters union, 2 of the firefighters unions from New York, just yesterday or the day before, called for reopening and a brand new investigation into the 9/11
Well, I'm
attacks.
not intending to get on 9/11
I'm not even
conspiracy train.
to get based on that, but no, just the fact that it's been 18 years now, and they're still calling for
They're
inquiries
still
and
reopening
investigations.
JFK investigations.
So that little niche group you're talking about with the generation.
Yes.
They're saying that it's really difficult for us in the workforce, not necessarily difficult, but we're trying to make our own little section because the people before us were the guys who were running the corporations, the CEOs. They were in that kind of mass mass organization, but then the younger age were really, really technology savvy, and they didn't have the real hands work on experience.
One of the reasons,
And so they're trying. It's a good niche to be
No,
in, I
totally
think, because you can
understand it.
span.
Yeah.
one of the reasons I did so well at oil and gas and accelerated through the career rankings so quickly was because I found the title came relatively easily because it was like playing Clue and I was naturally inquisitive. So I picked up title relatively quickly. But what really got me on the map was the fact that all the guys that were good at title were in their late 40s and 50s, and this was when I was in my early 20s, and they couldn't do the computer side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And as I went through and progressed and guys came in behind me, they were younger and didn't really get the title bit and the grammar and the vocabulary and everything that's got to go down with run and title. They didn't really get that, but they got the computer bit. And I was just lucky enough to be sandwiched where I could touch that and be right in the middle.
Well, let's talk about the current generation and things as simple as cursive writing. They don't teach it in school anymore, apparently.
No.
my 8-year-old has beautiful cursive. I saw a note from him the other day, and I'm like, is that Williams writing? It was unbelievable. So they're teaching it at Allen. I know that.
So private schools are still teaching.
Private, yeah, but they don't teach it in normal schools for sure. I don't think.
Well, what I was bringing up was our receptionist that we have right now writes everything in cursive.
Ooh.
She was an old school teacher.
They can't read it.
Right. We get notes, and I've got salesmen and things like that are like, what the fuck does this say? They cannot, and it's gorgeous cursive. It's proper.
That's how we're going to take over the world. It's with cursive writing and manual transmissions.
I mean,
that's it.
But they look at R's and some of the other letters that are written very strange and cursive.
S's, for example.
S's are very strange.
The S is like a little curve up and down,
like a little bow and arrow.
Yeah.
But they can't read cursive, and it's gorgeous cursive. It's not sloppy cursive. So I'll get them, and I have to wait. I have to think for a second. Like, okay, hold on, let me.
I have nice cursive when I slow down, but when I write at my speed, note taking, it's like a doctor.
I write and it looks like a 6-year-old was writing because my handwriting's always been terrible because I was allowed to type everything for so long.
Yep. That's why I have a typewriter for my thank you notes.
Well, I gave my pad to Shelby the other day. I'm like, hey, can you transcribe these notes? And she's like, what does this say? And I'm like, I don't know. Hold on, let me read the sentence.
Context.
Because I just write so fast, I'm taking notes. I can read it normally.
With shorthand. Like that's the thing.
It kind of.
A lot of college students get into shorthand where you'll drop letters and stuff like that, and as long as you drop the same ones every time, it's easy. You'll drop vowels, and you spell consonants, and you can drop
abbreviations.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I had somebody the other day. Like, I had a letter and I said STE for a suite on an address.
Yeah.
Right.
But somebody was like, what's that? I'm like, how do you not know that?
How do you not
like,
know
like
that?
STE. I'm like,
sweet.
I mean, sweet.
What's mine say?
Dude. Oh, great reference.
Yeah.
They were supposed to make a sequel to that. I don't think they ever did.
Talking to sequels, is it a sequel or a triquel?
I think it's just a continuation at that point.
Clerks 3 is fixing to hit.
Is it really?
I'm kind of looking
They're
forward
coming out
to
with
that.
another Bill and Ted because I've seen the shots of that filming.
But,
be excellent to each other.
back to Clerks just a minute.
It's a great motto.
They did Clerks 1 in, 94-ish?
I've never seen either of those.
Get out of here. You're fired. So they did fired from the podcast till you watch Clerks and you can come back.
Yeah, okay.
But they did that in '94. They did Clerks 2 in about 2005, 2006 something, and now they're coming out with Clerks 3. And it's been really, it's just like you're watching these guys.
Jay and Silent Bob are both skinny now, so how's that going to work?
I don't know, but you're watching these guys, and it's the culmination. But you relate to them because I've grown up at this. They're just a few years older than us, and I've grown up relating to them, and now they're doing Clerks 3, and some of them have got kids, and they're still struggling to make their bills, and it's like, man, it's like watching these guys go from teenagers, and we watched them as teenagers
in black and white,
to middle adults, and we watched them there. Now we're seeing them coming into their 40s.
What was the story behind them filming the first one in black and white? Was it intentional or was it a budget thing?
No, it was all budget.
I thought it was purposely done that way
to make it cheaper. Yeah, it was all budget. Kevin Smith funded that movie on his credit cards. I mean, there's they shot it in the store. The reason it was black and white, and the reason the shutters broke on the store, was because they had to film it at night after the store closed, which they segued very nicely into Zack and Miri Make a Porno when they were filming in the coffee shop at night after the store closed. But no, Kevin Smith was absolutely dead broke when he made Clerks, and he put it together and scraped everything and maxed out all his credit cards and stuff, and it worked.
Yeah, that was like made with Vince Vaughn and the guy who directed the original Iron Man. John Favreau.
Oh.
God. Yeah.
Like Brett Favreau.
So my brain broke.
Yeah. All of our brains broke there for a minute.
But it's Vince Vaughn and John Favreau, the original duo, Swingers and Maid. You can go watch. I mean, Vince Vaughn was probably 150 pounds in wet clothes, but he was so young, and they were just starting out. But they got really, really by on just the bare minimum in like all the shots and stuff that they did. And
you want to talk about 90s underappreciated movies though? Waiting.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
great movie.
Is that from the 90s?
I think it's late 90s.
No, that's Ryan Reynolds. It's old school.
He was really young in it though.
Yeah, he was super young.
Very young in it.
Yeah. You look that up. When did Waiting come out?
I just couldn't get over the fucking nutsack jokes in that movie. It just ruined it for me.
Yeah, it was a little.
It ruined it for me.
They didn't just show it.
Huh?
Yeah, they did.
They did.
Like 2 or 3 times.
I know.
In that same vein, Office Space, filmed mostly in Austin.
So vain.
Instant classic.
Classic.
Freaking
2005. Wow.
What?
Waiting came out in 2005.
Right.
Hey, I knew it wasn't 90s, man.
For some reason, I felt it was an older
but
movie.
Idiocracy, that was all shot in Austin.
Yeah.
All the.
Was Idiocracy shot? I know Office Space was.
No, Idiocracy was too.
Oh, that's right.
It's another Mike Judge film.
The blown up highway overpass they go by was the overpass at Mopac being built.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So, we've got about 3 minutes left, fellas. Is there anything you want to discuss before we wrap up this evening?
Wow, Eric's got a serious comment in there that I'm not going to bring up on air. But,
What's it say?
I'm not gonna bring it up.
I'm not going to bring it up on air. The very bottom one.
Eric. Eric, I would just let you know that sometimes in the heat of the moment, that is
family
actually
podcast.
forgivable. That's actually forgivable in the heat of the moment.
On that note.
Yes, and on that bombshell, I think that's a really good place to end. So thank you so much again for watching us just chat away. We are in the lounge at Cavalier Cigar Company on University Drive. I want to throw a huge thank you out to obviously David and Alex for sitting and tolerating me for the hour, and a huge thank you to you guys for sitting and listening.
Yep.
And
Our
the
live
biggest
studio
thank
audience.
you to the Texas Media Foundry that makes us look somewhat palatable on camera. So Texas Media Foundry, they are booking work in College Station, and if you have not seen the new Mercedes-Benz commercial that they just did for Mercedes College Station, go see it because it's great. Just type in Mercedes-Benz College Station or type in Texas Media Foundry and go check that commercial out because these guys are really knocking it out of the park. I'm super happy that they actually tolerate us and come work with us for peanuts on this show. So thank you guys. And on that bombshell, we will see you all same time next Sunday. Have a great week.
Thanks, guys.